Y'all get in here. Y'all hit that Cash App, y'all. $sign Content Kings 123. We watching and y'all get in here. Salute to Dr. E. We get on the platform. What's up, gang?
All right.
Y'all get in here. We got another one, Band-Aid gang. We back at it, man. We dusting off the dressers, man. We getting dust off the equipment. We back again. They tried to do us all type of ways. I am your host, C-Dub. Mr. I ain't said a word, but you know what I'm saying, and I said, damn. And I'm with the
Real Angel.
And we are with Dr. E in the building. Y'all give it up, y'all.
What's cracking?
What's up, gang? What's up, Band-Aid gang? What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining us on YouTube today. We want to say thank you all for joining. Shouts out to all the replay gang. We got a hot exclusive live for y'all tonight. It is so much going on in America right now, man. You need to wake up and start seeing what is going on, man. Open up your pineal glands, y'all. It's a conspiracy. Hit that like button if y'all just got in. If you're on the vertical side, please feel free to double tap the screen, y'all. Y'all can hit that Cash App, scan that QR code, donate to the channel, man. Keep us going. It helps us stay in these algorithms. Band-Aid gang, let's go, y'all. Shouts out to everybody. We got 20 in the building. Let's get straight to it, y'all. We about to stop this music, man. We got 20 in the building. Thank y'all. I know y'all wonder where we been, y'all, but we back at them. We back rolling, and we finna talk about these 12 missing scientists. But did I mention there's more? But it's also been a lot going on. It's an alleged assassination that was going on Donald Trump. We're going to get straight to that. We want to check out a couple clips. We had to change the way we do our content, y'all, because YouTube is getting very strict on how you do your commentary. So we're going to go ahead and share this first screen. We got 17 in the building. Please feel free to double tap the screen. Band-Aid gang, if you guys don't know what we are about, we have been covering the conspiracies. We have been covering the Epstein files. We have been covering a whole lot of different things, gang. And it's important that we reach out to everybody and give people wisdom. But we also ask that you do your own research. Do your own research. Everything is alleged under Act 107, fair use. But we also put our twist on it. This is Band-Aid gang. Thank you guys for coming in. What's going on, Dr. E? What's going on, chat? Feel free to double tap the screen. Yes, so there was a shooter that attempted to run in on Donald Trump. It is so crazy, but we're going to do some intel on this situation. Doctor, I want to know what you think about this situation. We about to roll the clip. Let's go, Band-Aid gang.
Emerging today about the suspect.
Situation about really today, you know, but I heard about some of the happened this weekend.
Are we going to roll the clip and then get a commentary, Dr. E? Let's go.
Okay. All right.
On dinner. And Rick Kareen, people in the area say the alleged shooter lived here at home with his parents for the last couple of years. Not many people knew him well, but say he was perfectly friendly and cordial walking around the neighborhood. A lot of people do know his parents. They say they are lovely people and a part of a tight-knit community around here. FBI agents swarmed the Torrance home of 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, pouring through the house he shared with his parents, where an apparent anti-Trump manifesto was found. The California tutor and engineer is accused of opening fire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. His intent, apparently to target President Trump and other officials, according to a note he sent to family members about 10 minutes before the attack. In the message, he writes that he feels rage anytime he thinks about what the administration has done and apologizes to friends, family, and co-workers.
Now, look how he runs through this, gang. What do you guys think about this, chat? I mean, the state of mind that we got people into right now, y'all, or what's going down in the world. There's so many different things. People are not happy with Trump in the office, and you got people that is happy with Trump in the office. But to me, gang, it seems like this person, and it seems quite educated. He got some good background, looks like he comes from a good home. And wonder what drives people to do these things, Dr. E. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think he just crashed out, you know, and then he had the access to get at him. So, He just took it amongst himself to do it. But I think a lot of people, like I said, they put a lot of faith in Donald Trump. Because they voted for him, they thought he was a great person to lead the country. And then I think they've really been hurt. It's like a bad breakup. You know what I mean? And everybody handling it different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, "I don't expect forgiveness. Again, my sincere apologies." Allen's brother raised concern about the text and alerted a local police department. When questioned by the Secret Service, his sister told authorities Allen made radical statements and said he was going to do something to fix issues in the world. According to Allen's LinkedIn profile, he graduated from Caltech in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering and was
he's been to school, got a bachelor's degree. What drives these people, man? What is it? Is it the chemtrails that they got going on? They spraying us with all type of chemicals. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Of the school's Christian fellowship. He got his master's at Cal State Dominguez Hills, worked for some time as an engineer, and then went on to develop video games and tutored at C2 Education. It's a company which helps prepare students for college. At one point, Allen was even named Teacher of the Month. Allen took a train from his home in the suburbs to Chicago, then to D.C., and was staying at the Hilton Hotel where the event was happening. He was armed with a handgun and shotgun, which he likely hid from his family.
Band-Aid gang, he went and got a room, y'all. He went and got a room. What's going on, Preston? How you doing? Make sure you double tap since you came in. He went and got a room, y'all. Bro didn't know if he was coming back, but he spent his last couple of coins, Angel, to go get him a room, y'all. He went to go get a room and then went out there to go do the drive-by, the walk-by. Wow. I said, damn.
Wow. Premeditated, right? He planned that out.
Hello, Dorian Gray.
Look, Dorian says, hey, what's up? Go back. The signs he's carrying disappeared. I said, damn. Big facts. Let's go back.
Was happening. He was armed with a handgun and shotgun, which he likely hid from his family. Media from around the country converged on his typically quiet neighborhood, where neighbors are certainly taken aback.
Let's go back and look at that move.
Typically quietly hid from his family. Was happening. He was armed with a handgun and shot.
Look at it. What kind of move? Look at this, y'all. What kind of move was this?
Like you breaking through the line, like you running football play, like a wide receiver going around the corner.
Which he likely
hell, it looked like he let him go. If he looked like he let him go ahead and take him. He ain't want Trump there. Looked like he let him go. Hit the like button, y'all. Let's go.
Hid from his family. Media from around the country converged on his typically quiet neighborhood, where neighbors are certainly taken aback.
Seemed like a nice guy. You never know, though. You just never know what lurks.
I'm friends with his dad. They're very solid, peaceful, good people in the community.
It's heartbreaking.
So we don't want to hear it's a black dude and all that, because now we got to play both sides. He looked like he mixed. He looked like he black and he white. So each race is to blame. So one race ain't taking the blame, y'all. So this is a good one. Let's go, Band-Aid.
It's devastating. I feel, in my opinion, it's like somewhat of a violation of trust in your community.
Dr. How is this a violation of trust in your community? I'm trying to figure that one out.
I don't know.
I think they just kind of. Are y'all listening to that?
Yeah, I think it's like I said, the neighborhood again. That's Torrance right there. Torrance is kind of, one of the. How can I really say it without being wrong? I can't even word it, but I mean, Torrance is one of those communities that still, I just say what it is. It's predominantly, as you see, white and maybe a little Asian mix. So it's not that many black families that really live there like that. So it seemed like, I don't know, he may be mixed, like you said, or he could be all black and just be light skinned. You know what I'm saying? But I think he didn't grew up in this community. He went to Cal State Dominguez. I went there part-time myself before. So same things, the diverse community, you know what I'm saying? So I think he didn't grow up his life pretty much diverse people. They kind of probably feel the same on politics and a lot of different things. And they're probably just shook that he would do something like that. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure Torrance is a probably Trump supporter. You feel what I'm saying? They're probably trying to Trump supporter. So for him to go out the way to do what he did, That's what I think she says kind of betraying the community, because it's kind of like, we voted for this guy. We love Donald Trump. And you're going to go up there and do something like that to him? We had no idea, because he's probably not even talking about things Democrat or whatever it may be, for his parties go, or maybe he really did anything radical. So I think that's probably what led her to say something like that, because they feel betrayed.
Yep. So everybody, we got 12 missing scientists, and I know you guys have been seeing this vanishing. Some are unalived. And it's crazy. So we got an exclusive live today. So make sure y'all tighten up your belts. Go get you something to drink, Band-Aid gang. We gonna get straight to it. Hit that like button. We got 15 in the building. Double tap that screen. We're gonna take a little time to get back in the algorithms, y'all. We've been gone, but we right back at them. Let's get to it, y'all. Band-Aid gang.
Allen has his first federal court appearance tomorrow. He's facing 2 preliminary charges, including assault on a federal officer. The district attorney in Washington, D.C. says she is expecting more charges as this investigation unfolds. That's the very latest from Torrance tonight.
2025, the U.S. Capitol Police investigated more than 14,000 threats to politicians. Between then and now, a number of our government officials and their families have relocated, leaving their homes to live on military bases for.
Now they leaving their homes to live up underground, gang. They done got scared. Dr. E, the politicians, they scared now, gang. They finna go live on the military base. They don't want to live amongst civilians anymore. They like, I'm good. We finna get up out of here, y'all. They running in trying to knock down Donald Trump, allegedly. I mean, damn, I said damn. What's going on, my boss? We brought her. Band-Aid gang, we ain't going nowhere. We back at it. Salute to my boss. Everybody welcome my boss to the chat. Let's get straight to it, gang.
The added security.
Breaking news, the 13th scientist found burned in Tesla at the age of 29. This is the 13th scientist who has passed away behind the recent deaths.
13th scientist that has passed away, gang. Hey, September Virgo, that has passed away. Now, what's going on, y'all? What is going on? Let's continue.
Scientists. 29-year-old Joshua LeBlanc was not just any NASA engineer. He worked on nuclear propulsion systems, one of the most sensitive areas in aerospace. Police say his body burned beyond recognition, and police confirmed his identity 3 days later after the body was transported to the Alabama Department of Forensic Science. At the time, his family said they feared he had been abducted and that he had left his phone and wallet in his home at the time of the disappearance. Why are all these scientists leaving their phones behind when they leave?
That's another thing. Every last one of these scientists, when they come up missing, their phone is there.
Hey, Nurse 59.
What do you think about that? Hey, Nurse 59, when the scientists have, every last one of these scientists, their phone is separate from where they are. What's going on with that, y'all?
That's wild, right?
So since he didn't have his phone, police tracked LeBlanc down using data from his Tesla Sentry mode and found that his vehicle sat at the airport in Huntsville for hours on the morning of his passing. His family said his trip west was not part of his plan for the day, and that uncharacteristically, he was not communicating with them. Officials are currently treating the incident as a traffic-related accident, and there is no confirmed evidence of foul play. However, the case is drawing significant attention online, as some reports claim LeBlanc may be part of a broader pattern involving multiple scientists who have died or gone missing in recent years. Authorities have not confirmed any connection between these cases. The investigation remains ongoing.
Wow. So September Virgo says, in the chat, they make them leave because they're going against the demonic plan. Absolutely. I totally agree. And also, I think that a lot of these scientists are coming up missing because whatever agenda that they want us to get ready to follow, they don't want these scientists to be able to change the agenda because these guys are very smart. So I'm feeling like if they're smart, they don't want them there because they got some type of agenda that is about to come up, y'all. We've talked about this, we build it, and whatever these scientists know, you guys, they do not want the people to be set free amongst whatever they're about to cast on us. That's just my thing. It could maybe a plague, it could be disease. These guys are very skillful. And whatever it is, they don't want these guys to be able to take us out of what position that they're going to put us in. They want to put some chains on us, and they don't want to have people get us up out of it. So I think that pretty much goes with what September Virgo said. Let's go, y'all.
Is this why they murdered David Wilcock? I mean, why he committed suicide?
The DS is very, very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we've inherited that often become religions.
The deep state doesn't want you to know the truth about extraterrestrials and aliens, but the president of the United States in February said that he's directing all agencies to release all of those related files, and then all of these UFO researchers and scientists end up. You have to wonder if the information you're going to be getting is not all of it, kind of like some other files. Now, no one's really around to tell you otherwise. As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below. Turns out it's not just scientists in the United States that have been dying lately of mysterious deaths. It's happening in China, too. At least 9 scientists have mysteriously died in China, and the causes of death are recorded as accidents, sickness, or unexplained incidents. Here are some examples. Zhang Daibing, 47, died in January of unexplained causes. He was the expert former deputy director of unmanned systems. Fang Dining, 68, died of an unexpected medical episode in February of 2026. He was a hypersonics expert, studied materials for spacecraft and advanced engines at the Beijing Institute of Technology. Yen Hong died just last month at age 56 of a reported illness. She was in the field of hypersonics research. Some of the other scientists were in the field of military AI, including swarming technology and simulations. Sound familiar? And even their media is calling this extremely uncommon. Mainstream media is already saying that this could be espionage and that scientists have always been a political target, even though there is no evidence to support that. But I have to wonder if countries are actually working together to get rid of their smartest people so that they can't question whatever narrative is to come. What do you think? As always, let me know down below. More scientists.
Well, I got a good comment right here. What do you feel about this, Dr. E? Durian says, you can track a person by their phone. A professional grabbed them. And I totally agree with that. So what you feel about that?
Oh, this whole thing right here. I was just thinking, I have a friend and a person that I know that he was an engineer. He's retired now, but he lives in Atlanta. I'm gonna have to reach out to him. He's on politics and stuff too. So his name's Malik. I'm gonna have to definitely reach out to him and see what he thinks about a lot of this, because they just test about these are aerospace and aeronautical engineers and stuff like that, and he's a retired one. So I would love to see what he feels about it. And he's not a Trump supporter, so I would like to really see what he says. I'm definitely gonna reach out. Maybe the next show we go on, I'll probably reach out to him and see if we can bring him on board and have him comment some things, because I'm pretty sure it'll be very enlightening. Trust and believe. But yeah, for my own thoughts, I'm sorry, but yes, but for my own thoughts, yeah, this is just like like they're saying, this is kind of weird. They got these phones coming up missing. It's China, it's America. All these top engineers are missing, and scientists. These people, like you said, they studying. You said unmanned devices and all this other kind of stuff. They're studying all kind of spaceships and aircraft. And then, for as our scientists go, they probably studying genealogy or something. You know what I'm saying, about genes and different foods and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure it's a plan and a plot going on. And it's weird because all this stuff is kind of linking back into Trump again with all this, what they said, the children coming up missing and, eating of human bodies and stuff like this is very much going together like a scientific movie now. It went from politics to scientific things. They merging in together, but they kind of won because of the situation, and it's very weird. It's very weird.
And that's because everybody, you got to pay attention. People are about to start vibrating on a different frequency right now. So now we're moving up. So we're going to see a lot of things. Nothing's going to stay the same. So what they're doing is that even though we know the alien agenda has been out for years, it's just finally they want to open up to us about it because there's going to be a change. It's going to be a shift. People are going to have powers that they didn't have before. They're going to be able to open up. People that got their pineal glands, once your pineal glands open up, a lot of us know that black men pineal glands open up at the age of 40. So that pineal glands actually hold your dream state. So you'll be thinking different. A lot of people are going to start thinking different, y'all. The solar flares that are coming out, these solar flares that are happening, gang, everybody pay attention. Things are about to change. Let's go. Hit the like button. Welcome to the chat, YWB. Bitway, how you doing? Let's go, y'all.
That worked with NASA have just died in a private plane crash. And this time, it's a father and son, marking number 14 and 15 in the growing list that have recently vanished or been found dead. The father, James Moffat, spent...
This investor brings hell to our house 3 times. I was present for one of the times. I happened to be home from Seattle at the same time that Hal came over. And I sat with him in my dining room over there at the dining room table, and he was talking about ultra terrestrials. And basically ultra terrestrials are like, he talks about extraterrestrial. Extra implies that they're from somewhere else, from the outside.
The extra is certain ones of us got extra DNA that will be unraveled.
Extra implies they're from not here, from outside. Ultra terrestrial.
What's up, Mike?
They're from the Dalton.
They're not necessarily from the outside. They're from here.
Oh.
My hands have been burned to hell and back as I've been typing. Because you can beam me through there and through there. And you can get a 3D image of what I'm typing. Because this computer doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. You can't hack it. But you can maybe get a 3D image of me typing. So like we just did that. And did that as an act of pure desperation. And guess what? I feel better immediately. Like, my hands still burn because there's damage. But it's like my body relaxed when we barricaded the shit. And it was like...
Y'all, these people are super smart. This is just telling me that basically it's about to be a major shift. They about to clamp down on the people, and wherever the cure is or wherever we need to get out of the bondage that they trying to put us in, gang, they separating these people. So whatever they're going to do and put the clamp on us, they do not want us to come out. It's ironic. Why is there so many scientists that are coming up missing?
And then they don't want them to crack either. They don't want them to tell because, you know, they talk about all this snitching going on. Them scientists are snitching a minute.
Yes, because that's what make me think it's going to be some type of apocalypse, y'all. It's going to be some type of craziness about to come. It's this is just, it's crazy. It's weird that this is happening. Yeah. Can't make this shit up, y'all.
Then it's around Trump too. It's kind of like, this is really weird how it's going into politics. Science and politics are coming together. That's why it's nothing under the sun that's new, but at the same time this is a new kind of thing now, because I mean, we never seen that in our day and time. They've been separated for years, you know, besides, you know, the spaceship that goes up. But now all of a sudden scientists coming up missing. I don't think that's ever happened in history.
Absolutely. Now listen to this, gang. Let me tell you what just happened to me. You know, I was in Phoenix, Arizona yesterday, y'all. Now let me tell you the story. So it's a guy standing outside the truck, and I'm like, you know, Phoenix has got some weirdos out there. So I tend to walk and check my area. I'm seeing what this guy is pacing for, right? You know, Dr. So I walk up and I say, "How you doing, man?" He's like, "All right." I said, What you doing out this way?" He's like, "Well, man, I'm just standing around." I said, "You a truck driver?" He said, "Yeah, my truck over there. I'm I said, where you from? He said, New Mexico. I said, black people live in New Mexico, just being sarcastic, right? So the guy says, yeah. I said, where do you live? Band-Aid gang. He said, I live in Santa Fe. You know, first thing popped up in my mind when he said Santa Fe. Epstein files. Okay, so I said, Santa Fe? He said, yeah, I live in Santa Fe. Now, this is breaking news, y'all. This is breaking news. So he says he lives in Santa Fe. So I said, you heard of Zorro Ranch? And he was like, no, I don't know nothing about Zorro Ranch. Now, look at the change of the game. Guess what he said, September Virgo? He said, I know about Oprah's ranch.
No.
I said, damn, Oprah got a ranch up there too?
Wow.
Yeah, Oprah got a ranch. Now listen, y'all, right next to, he said it was south of Santa Fe. So south of Santa Fe is damn near around where Zorro Ranch is, correct? So it's in the desert, Band-Aid gang. So I'm like, so he got a ranch out there? I mean, she got a ranch? Said, yeah, he said, but, and this guy's a black dude. It's a black dude, kind of heavy set, kind of, you know, you can tell he was educated, got white boy accent. So he was like, yeah, he said, a lot of them are moving up there. A lot of the celebrities, he said, you'll never know that they live up there unless you take a picture of them.
Oh, wow.
So we got the situation where, so that means nobody knows that Oprah lives by Zorro Ranch and she has a ranch. I said, damn, we got to go back and research what's going on. Oprah has a ranch. I tried to tell you guys, these tunnels connect to each other. There is some shit going on underground. Now look what happened to Zorro Ranch, gang. Nothing about Zorro Ranch no more. That died down. Went to the Maya Straits, that's dying down. Now Trump almost gets assassinated. Then here come the 12 scientists. What is next, y'all? The alien agenda, gang.
And this is what, the second on Donald Trump's life? This is the second time, right?
Absolutely.
That's weird, too. We haven't had that to happen before with either president.
Not at all. Let's continue, y'all.
Like release, like immediately.
Found out that I was being physically surveilled by the following method. My ex-boyfriend and I realized that people had been breaking into our apartment while we were gone together in the same vehicle.
Now this is a crazy story. Hit the like button, y'all. Let's go.
And so like I'm in the apartment, I'm about to go to work, and I'm like, why don't you take out the trash and scope out the parking lot and make sure it's okay before I go to work? So he goes out there and he's like, there's this weird fucking Lexus. It's like a silver Lexus. This is a shitty apartment. Like, why is there really nice Lexus in the parking lot? And it has tinted windows that are not street legal, like just totally dark, totally black tinted windows that are not possibly street legal. And so he comes back in and we're standing in our bedroom window looking at the Lexus and talking about it. And I say out loud, maybe we should walk over there later and take a picture of the license plate. Because the Lexus is across the parking lot from us, but it's backed in, so you can't see the license plate. Within 2 minutes of me saying, hey, we should walk over there later and take a picture of the license plate, we were still standing there at the window looking at it, talking about it. And an Eastern European looking motherfucker with a black beanie, dressed all in black, in his 50s or 60s, walked out of...
I remind you, she said, y'all, that when she would come home, it looked like somebody had been in their house. So everything they basically was saying, someone was listening to it. They planted a bug inside of her house. So she's telling this story now. So whatever had happened to her, it was definitely government.
No, dang.
The apartment directly across from ours, holding the license plate. And he opened the trunk of the Lexus and he took out some tools and he changed the license plate right in front of our fucking faces. And then he walked back to his apartment. And he put the old license plate on the front patio and went inside, left it out.
So they letting her know, basically, we watching your ass. We hear everything that you saying. You ain't going nowhere. We watching you.
And changed it in front of her, like, yeah, we don't care if you see. You know, we want you to know. What?
We want you to know. You can't. Bro, that is crazy. They probably put something in her shoe. the smallest bug in her shoe. She ain't going nowhere. They wash the same pair of shoes she wear every goddamn day. I said, damn. Let's go, y'all.
And it was literally like, come get the license plate. I have more where this came from. Come get the license plate. And then after that, the Lexus started tailing me. And every time I saw the Lexus, it had a different license plate. It would be like Alabama plates, a different state plate. It would be random dealer plates, none of which were local. Just like cardboard temporary dealer plates, none of which were any local dealers. Every time I saw it, it was different plates. It would follow me to the gas station to go get beer. I would go get beer at the gas station, and that Lexus follows me. And even my ex called an Uber once. He called an Uber.
So you can tell that she'd been freaking out. You know what I'm saying, y'all? No bullshit. You can tell that what it's mentally stressing her. You can see her body language. And an average person that is not woke, and I know September Virgo can vouch for me for this, they would think this lady's crazy. And she went and told this what I don't like is when people that you think is crazy, they not really crazy, y'all. And if she starts to tell, if you walked up on this woman and you wouldn't even know just by the way she looks. That's why, looks can be deceiving because you wouldn't know that she has the type of skills and even her body. You would think that she's probably a meth head. Am I correct? I'm just being honest.
I hate to laugh, but
she's a nuclear attack and she makes gravitational.
Yeah, and she looks so plain Jane, and then at the same time, she's talking some real out of the, like I said, Twilight Zone kind of thing. I mean, she's talking about these license plate, about a guy they darts in the windows, and so if you was just listening to a story, just say, man, you bumped into her at the truck stop, and you start having a conversation with her, and she's smoking a cigarette or something. You just talking to her, and she gets to talking and tell you about this, but she's trying to tell you maybe some truths. But you're looking at her like you just said, what's she tweaking on?
Right. September Virgo said in the chat, exactly. Who's going to believe her? It's their system, y'all. It's their system. Hit the like button. Mike says yes. We got a person in here 3 a.m. outside 7-Eleven type shit. I know that's real. What's up, Cat Daddy, man? Double tap. Y'all hit that like button. Let's get them likes up and get the channel back in the algorithm. I've been gone for 7 days, maybe 8, close to 9. So, please respect the channel. Let's get the Band-Aid gang back up in here. I promise you we sticking back to the strip and we going to stay rolling, y'all. We're going to bring y'all some exclusive live. Thank y'all for joining tonight.
Lexus pulled out from the spot across the parking lot from our apartment in the Uber app, but they didn't have an Uber sticker or a Lyft sticker. You can't drive Uber if you don't have an Uber sticker. He pulled out of his spot across from our apartment where he lived and drove over there to pick him up and said, hey, I'm your Uber here to pick you up. They changed the license plate right in front of our face. Like 60 seconds after I said, hey, we should go take a picture of that license plate. And they leave it on the patio, like, take it. We have more.
And it's sad, y'all, because it be people like this that be telling you the story. Because she be talking to me and Dr. E somewhere, and we be like, man, and then she comes up missing. Man, you heard that girl? She was talking crazy. What kind of type of shit she on? Then she come up missing, and you don't believe a damn thing that she's saying. And it's sad, y'all. And this is what happens a lot in the world, which goes back to what September Virgo said. Exactly, it's part of their system. And it's sad what happened to her. May she rest in peace. Let's go, y'all.
Just take it.
What about the innovator who's afraid of disappearing?
Well, that's a whole nother problem.
So this is her.
I think doing it in the public is better in that case. But that's a different.
It still doesn't mean it won't disappear. I mean, even if you do it in the public, it still don't mean that the inventor won't disappear for lots of reasons.
Like Ming Lee.
Did you hear that, y'all? Did you hear that, Dr. E? This gentleman right here said, listen, and she won't disappear. I wonder if that's the man that took her. He could be the guy that got her up out of there.
Ooh.
Listen to that, y'all. Listen to what he said.
I mean, even if you do it in the public, it still don't mean that the inventor won't disappear.
Wow. I said, damn. Say that one more time. need to investigate that dude.
That's a different.
That doesn't mean it won't disappear. I mean, even if you do it in the public, it still don't mean that the inventor won't disappear for lots of reasons.
What?
Like Ming Lee.
Wow.
Dr. Greg Rogers coming back once more. This time I want to address the 11 military personnel. And
Dr. E, I'm just saying this man is not human, y'all. Dr. E, what you think? Look, everybody look at the mouth. This dude is not human. He's got to be a reptile. I'm getting reptilian vibes out of this guy, y'all. Look at his eyebrows. Look at the top of his head. And I want everybody to pay attention to his mouth. Let's go, y'all.
Scientists that have gone missing or dead over the recent time. A particular concern to me is the fact that General McCaslin, who disappeared just outside of Albuquerque, disappeared just a half mile from where my good friend Linda Moulton Howe lives. I know that she's very disturbed about it, as am I. The sudden...
That might be a skin mask. What you think, Dr. E? I'm with Cat Daddy on that one. I'm seeing skin mask. What about you, September Virgo? It's skin mask on.
Rapid and recurring disappearances and deaths are very unusual, especially considering the quality of the personnel who went missing and disappeared or were found dead. I've dealt with high-level personnel my entire career, and these are not people who would routinely do things of this sort, and yet they would be involved.
Dang, it look like he might have a mask on, y'all. He might be really trying to hide his identity.
That's possible.
Wow.
Got that Hollywood vibe to it, like you said, it's like a cover up. Because even like he's talking, it's like he's kind of gasping for air. So it's either some kind of health issues he's got going on, or either it makes it seem like you said, he could have a mask on.
Right. Cat Daddy said he got two nostrils in one. Look at the left side. I see it. That's what I'm talking about. Look at his nostril on the left, everybody. Y'all, we starting to level up. A lot of people that they think that it's conspiracy theorists, they're gonna be at the top. It's no longer conspiracy theorists. That shit is finna die. Let's go.
Were found dead. I've dealt with high-level personnel my entire career, and these are not people who would routinely do things of this sort, and yet they would be involved with operations and research projects that would put them in knowledge of very important things. Of concern to me is the fact that since I have come out with the revelation that I saw a reverse engineered UFO, I have been harassed, and it is of concern to me that I do not become.
So reverse engineer UFO, which goes to Bob Lazar. Everybody thought Bob Lazar was crazy, but now Bob Lazar on everybody's channel right now. Let's go, y'all.
I'm the 12th person on that list. So I want to go on record as saying that I have this concern. I am not going to walk off into the woods. I'm not going to kill myself or do anything of that sort. So if you hear reports that something has happened to me, I want you to remember this video.
But we're not going to wait forever. And I don't want you to be tired either. I want you to be prepared. I want you to be ready. I want you to psychologically and emotionally prepare yourself for what will be the most stunning events you've ever seen in your entire life. That is what we're heading into. It is not going to stay like this, where people can still be skeptical and they can still be annoying and they can still say, well, I don't know if I believe any of this stuff. You will not have that luxury anymore. You will not have the luxury of denying what is going on. You will not have the luxury of being ignorant. It's become so obvious for those who are, even with possessing minimal insight, that there is something very, very crazy going on. That the world is being run not the way we were told in school, not the way you're told on television, but there's something else going on. It's dark, it's weird, it's scary. There is a monster under the bed.
We're really being held back by the people who don't see this yet. And the reason typically they don't see it is political ideology and fear.
Wow, my mind is blown. It is not just David Wilcock that has just passed away, but other experts and colleagues in his field have also passed away. And they were all associated or featured in the show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. And now it's caused plasma physicist John Brandenburger. He posted this AI image and this message that says, "Dear friends, I have been told I am in danger as an anti-gravity and Mars investigator. But I tell you now that all humanity is now in danger. But so are the cover-up helpers. I urge a blanket amnesty for all in the cover-up who end it. Take this amnesty while you still can." Now, this is considered a conspiracy theory. It is what Dr. John Brandenburger is alleging. But we also have a scientist who was working on anti-gravity. Anti-gravity, isn't that what Amy Eskridge, one of the scientists who allegedly took her own life, was working on? You remember Amy.
They say she took her own life. You see what I'm saying? How did she take her own life? We're going to go into her story tomorrow. I want to know more in depth. I put this timeline together. I wanted to get the channel back rolling, get the channel back in the algorithm game. And once I get rolling, y'all know how I do. Go ahead, Dr. E.
Yeah, I was saying, why would these brilliant people do something like that? You know, why? You know, smart as they are, they're just going to just, you know, unalive themselves. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. That's why even that guy was saying that, you know, if you hear something happen to me, you know what I'm saying? It didn't happen. I didn't do that to myself. He kind of let you know. So it's kind of like, this is weird, you know, but it makes me think real quick. It makes me think about in school, like I said, the non-fiction stuff and the fiction stuff. And when you go to the library and they separate it from, like, you know, Star Wars and all that kind of stuff, is like non-fictional stuff, right? But now we're seeing that all the time this stuff been true. And then all the time they've been taking that stuff and making movies about it. And they show you stuff in plain sight, the aliens, the pyramids, all this other kind of stuff. They've been showing you stuff in plain sight, you know. And now we're hearing all about fraternities, like the, you know, like the Masons and all this other kind of stuff. A lot of stuff is coming out on the internet in this last couple of weeks. You've been seeing a lot more stuff that's all over the place in science. They're supposed to be basically non-fictional stuff to a certain point, or this myths and beliefs. Why isn't all of a sudden now coming to the surface and getting pushed in with politics?
Yeah, Cat Daddy, I seen that. Did you happen to see that guy that Cat Daddy's talking about? It's a black dude, and he turns waste, plastic waste, into gasoline. So we gotta watch. Yeah, we'll bring him up. Yes, Bob Lenard, he made jet packs and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm seeing right now, y'all, like these people dealt with gravity. Wherever we can get our way up out of here, they don't want it. They don't want to have nobody that know how to build anything. Something is about to come. Now listen to this, y'all. Let's go back and listen to what she actually dealt with, y'all. It says, look at the top. She was a genius. Hit the like button, y'all.
A scientist who was working on anti-gravity. Anti-gravity, isn't that what Amy Eskridge, one of the scientists who allegedly took her own life, was working on? You remember Amy, she's one of the scientists who have mysteriously disappeared or passed away. Yes, she was working on anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity. She was working on anti-gravity. She was a genius. But when you sit
all this been in the last, my bad, but all this been in the last 4 or 5 months, and all these scientists have died. I'm hearing like January, February. It just all of a sudden they just started dying. That's kind of weird too. You know, like every other month, every month is like 2 or 3 scientists been dying, right? So it's like, and they all are top scientists that we would never really know about, but they work with the government. No, it's making me, it's feeling very, what they call that area 51 over in Nevada. You know about it. It's on that back road over there. We drive sometimes.
Up to 93.
Yeah, it's making me, it's giving me them vibes right now. Like, okay, this is feeling very area 51ish.
And if you watch the videos I've posted of her, she was claiming that she was about to allegedly expose it to the public via her Institute of Exotic Science in Huntsville. So if Dr. John Brandenburger has also been researching anti-gravity and Mars, I think it's legitimate for him to feel scared. So the rabbit hole took me down to this. All these men are linked to the show Ancient Aliens on the History Channel. and they have all allegedly passed away. And you guys know that I have to say allegedly, right? And I have to say that this could all be a conspiracy theory. It is all alleged. A ton of other professionals and colleagues from the show, including Nick Pope and Eric Von Daniken.
The DS is very, very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we've inherited that often become religions. And we find out that these are not mythological texts. These are actual documented, factual, historical accounts. The Bible has ET contact. The Quran has ET contact. Buddhist scriptures have multiple examples of ET contact. So does the Hebrew scriptures. I mean, it's everywhere. So we're going to have a big awakening. And as I've said before, I have been used by these higher beings telepathically to convey a message, which is the earth changes that we were afraid were going to happen. Pole shift, solar flash.
I just spoke of that. The solar flash. The solar flash, y'all. It's all coming, y'all. Whatever it is, these people got the way to reverse technology in it, and what is about to happen is the way they want to be. Whatever they want to do, they want to lock us down. They want to lock us down and dim our thought process, you guys. We here now. They think that they're gods. And we're just workers. We're just slaves if you think about it. You got people going crazy over the presidents. They didn't separate that red against blue, Democrat against Republican. And that's the least of what we should be looking at. This is a spiritual war that is about to happen soon. So just be prepared. Detox your bodies right now. Detox your body. Let's go, y'all.
Tsunami, all that stuff, that's not going to be happening. We're actually going to be spared these disasters because we've learned the lessons that Jesus meant to teach us, to be loving towards other people. Enough of us have learned these lessons of love. Joy Berman just donated. Thank you very much. We've learned these lessons of love so that we don't have to go through this catastrophe. We've authorized a positive timeline. And so it's very important to understand that the most jealously guarded secrets by the DS are the forbidden technologies. This is the most dangerous thing to talk about. They will threaten you the most. They will attack you the most. They will take intelligence assets and put them on you. Those intelligence assets are told that you're full of crap, told that you're a con artist, told that you're lying. The assets don't even know that you're telling the truth. And their job is just to try to attack you and ruin your life. And they're very tenacious. I'm going to show you some examples of this today.
Like he just said, Doctor, he said they're very tenacious. They want to make you ruin your life. When we was watching the girl Amy, it seemed like, again, you would think that she was crazy or whatever the case may be. She unalived herself. I wonder if they drove her to commit suicide, because she was saying they were psychologically messing with her, that she would come home and it seemed like somebody been in their house. And then she told the story, you guys, about the guy outside when they said we need to check the license plate. He came out, he changed the license plate in her face, came and set the license plate on her front porch, went and changed the license plate. Every time she saw him again, the license plate was changed. That'll drive you crazy. So basically, yes, and for her to be a genius, whoever did this to her was a genius too.
Right. That's fucking with it. I mean, it takes a smart person to fuck with a smart person, right? Like, it's like playing chess, right? So that's kind of how it is. What's your next move kind of thing. That's what they was doing. And that's what you kind of got to come at, a smart person, because a very intelligent person, they don't think in the box, they think out the box, right? And so when she seen all this happening, that's what they was doing to her. They was messing with her, because it's like, wait a minute, you're not playing normal. Because she know everybody else to her is normal, and somebody else on that same level or are playing with her mentally. It's like, now it's a challenge, because now you're testing my intelligence. That's what they were kind of doing, and it seemed like all the scientists, even this guy right here is mentioned about religion and UFOs. Most scientists don't bring the two together. You feel me? I mean, you in science class in school, I used to probably go there a lot of times when I was in school, and they would never really want to go there. They kept them separated, especially in high school. They didn't want to never bring about, how everything comes from a living cell and whatnot. You learn the basis of science. They never wanted to merge them together because, if every living cell comes from another living cell, my question was always, well, what created the first living cell? You feel me? That's
Did you ever get an answer?
No.
So with that being said, let me ask you another question. Everybody go ahead and think back a little bit. They never taught us about, and you're in the same age bracket I'm in, Dr. E, a couple years older, whatever the case may be. And we got a lot of mature people in here. But think about it. They never talked about the alien agenda in school.
They never brought the two together. Like I said, religion and science stay separate. But yet, just a little bit, just because they have to teach you this a smidgen of it, you want to call it that. When they got to talking about, you're in a math class, learning about geometry and stuff like this, you learn a little bit about the pyramids and what the, astronomy, all that kind of goes together. They let you kind of know without telling. You have to pretty much, like I said, go to the next level, which would be college, to find out more information, and they talk about this stuff more in depth, right? And that's why I kind of learned a lot of my information when I went to the HBCU, and I learned a lot of that information that was never taught in school or in church, and it kind of blows you away to get all the information. And this was my freshman year in history class, and then your history class kind of links right into your chemistry class because all the teachers are kind of teaching the same thing, what they were separated from doing in high school and before. They never bring religion and UFOs and stuff like we talking about together. But when you get in college, all this information is in front of you from organizations, like I said, the Masons and all that kind of stuff that's on campus, the 5%ers. You feel what I'm saying? All that kind of information is at your fingertips. And when you walk to the cafeteria, when you walk to the hangout spot where everybody's hanging out, everything is talked about in the open. You're exposed to all this stuff from your classroom to the library to sitting on the yard and you're looking at the stars and the moon at night. it makes you really open up your mind where if you was like we're saying, I'm from LA, coming from a city like that where you had all the throw-offs, nobody's talking intelligent about nothing. They just trying to make hustling and making money, right? And then you go to a place where everything is about science, moon, and like what Ice Cube said and Boys in the Hood, he was like, man, stars, moons, and quasars and stuff like that up in the sky. That's what you kind of get when you get to college. You get that kind of intellectual talks and conversations because what you're learning in the classroom is more exposed and less people talk about it and got facts and information. And then in the libraries, you pull books off the shelf and it's right there at your fingertips. But then a lot of times, when we were students, you don't like to read. You feel me? Unless it's an assignment. But when you go to college, you find out the teacher got you doing, professors got you doing one assignment, and then you pull off 5 other books that has nothing to do with that because they're interesting. And as you start pulling them off, it links right back into what you're studying. See, that's what really intrigued me when I was going to school. Is about how we call it now, like you go on the internet and you rabbit hole into something, Google something, and then about 20 other topics come up, and you're gonna be on there all night.
Hold that
was the library back in the day.
Hold that thought, Dr. E. Everybody, I want to, Dr. E touched bases. We had a conversation. I want everybody to hear that. Towards the end, we're going to go back to, remember the conversation that we had, Dr. E, and it was talking about the Vikings and having a black guy, the earring in the ear. And, right. Yes, we're going to give y'all a little history lesson. Okay, guys, on the Caribbean. We're going to give you a little history lesson. Dr. E going to break it down to you guys. We're going to ride through this, and it's going to be after the next video, okay, Dr. E? We're going to close it out with that and give people a little bit of knowledge tonight. It's a great story. Y'all got to check what Dr. E. Hyde's going to break it down. Let's go, y'all.
Hey, I would want the world to know about Ascension. I would want the world to know that we are very, very close. And all the people on the inside know this. This is the key of disclosure. We are very close to some sort of energetic shift that the sun is going to do. There have already been multiple experiments. I've heard this from several insiders in which they take ordinary folks and they put them into a room and they zap them with the energy that our sun is going to give off when we go through this change. They become very blissed out. They start to get really telepathic. They can move things with their mind. Everybody kind of goes into a psychedelic trip. Our government knows that this is going to happen, where there's no veil left, where we are.
So that means people that are in tune and woke as these solar flares, and as we about to go transfer maybe to a fifth dimensional type of people now. So people are going to have special powers. If you're good at sensing, basically what he's saying, dog, if you're good at reading people, you're going to be able to read people even more. You might be able to read their mind. And that's what he's telling. I would just listen to what he's saying, gang. So whatever you got a good talent at, it's probably going to enhance. And that's what he's trying to tell us. And whatever these scientists have or what was going to open us up, this man is telling you now, they took him away. So listen to what he says again, y'all. So when they have, remember everybody who used to watch Marvel comics and shit, and they had special powers, Dragon Ball Z, you get into it with your chakra. Let's go, y'all. Hit the like button. Double tap that screen.
The sun is going to give off when we go through this change. Become very.
So we're going through a change. The sun is going to give up some rays. Now listen, y'all.
List out. They start to get really telepathic. They can move things with their mind.
So now people are going to start moving shit with their mind. So imagine what would happen to the scientists that are missing. Them motherfuckers been Superman. Y'all, I said, damn. Hit the like button. They didn't got the Marvel men out the way before they knew how to. They didn't hid them and unalived them and took their phones. We got one person in the chat said they took their phones. We know why they took their phones, because their phones would attract them. You just don't miss it. Your phone just don't come up missing. September Virgo says natural and sun knows whom indigenous to be the land in this earth. Let's go. You tracking that, Dr. E? All these superheroes came from black people. That's they stole. Big facts. Let's go, y'all.
Everybody kind of goes into a psychedelic trip. Our government knows that this is going to happen, where there's no veil.
So he's saying the government knows this is about to happen, and now he gone. See, thank God for TikTok, y'all. They probably would have banned this from YouTube. I said, damn. Because look, y'all, on gang, listen. Y'all hear what he said? And now he gone. Listen, y'all.
Where we are wide open.
Keep watching, y'all. Keep watching. We get
The solar flash becoming something like the solar flash is going to happen next year in 2025. They call it the first wave of ascension, but they say that it will not destroy the Earth. We will not have a pole shift. We won't have catastrophic waves that sweep over the continents from the ocean, but we are going to see apparently this massive consciousness awakening event where people start to develop superhero type of abilities. This might be why the superhero shows like Iron Man and all these other comic book Marvel hero movies are so popular. We might be getting ready to be turned into superheroes. And according to Archangel Michael, the degree of spirituality that you have, the degree of Christ consciousness, how loving you are, how humble you are, how much you have service to others, is going to determine how much ability you will gain when this happens.
That happens in the realm of consciousness as a result of music. In other words, it is more than just something pretty or something exciting. It actually changes the brain and can cause a deep change in the corpus callosum, which is the bridge connecting the left and right hemisphere. We combine music with silence. When they asked the Buddha, what's the easiest way for a person to get to nirvana? Buddha said, sound. Music is processed in more regions of the brain than we ever imagined. Music is a great example of how different parts of the brain can act together. Music can have a profound, even physical effect on the brain. Even physical effect on the brain. Music may actually affect brain size. When he compared the brain scans of 30 musicians with those of 30 non-musicians, he found a corpus callosum table that neurons connecting the brain's left and right hemisphere, the bridge from the left to the right. And keep in mind, you are desperately trying to get from the left to the right. And he found that the corpus callosum...
Yeah, Angel was talking about that. Y'all can tell the difference from R&B music now to the R&B music then. Like when you listen to R&B music now, a lot of the singers sound depressed. It's not like the love songs we used to listen to back in the days, Dr. E. It's like these R&B girl singers, they're depressed. Or now it's seeming like, you know, back in the days, it was love. Okay, I'm going to love and treat this girl right. But now it's like, okay, I'm going to take you from your man and X, Y, Z. And it's just staring down. So music has a total effect on how we live. you know, you listen to a song where dudes is downgrading women constantly, you're going to come home and you're not going to trust your woman. And you're going to start calling her all type of names. So music has a major effect on how we live our day when we do listen to it. So you're putting that vibration, you're putting that frequency in your ear. So of course it takes toll on how you live your day. So be careful of what type of music you listen to or let your children listen to. And that's why a lot of these YGs, these YNs, whatever you want to call them, they crashing out. They don't speak. They look depressed. Everybody want to drill. Everybody want to unalive. It's a whole different era and time. It's because what they're putting in the music. Music is a universal language, and we spoke about that.
That bridge connecting the left and the right were larger among musicians. When the patients played drums or sang along with their songs, their serum melatonin levels skyrocketed. So according to the scientists, there is something that happens in the realm of consciousness as a result of music. In other words, it is more than just something pretty or something exciting. It actually changes the brain and can cause a deep change in the corpus callosum, which is the bridge connecting the left and right hemisphere.
Whatever that thing is, really does create some sort of a space-time bubble.
Yeah, but we're gonna listen to this. I like this comment. What do you think about this comment, Dr. E? September Virgo said, she said, if you would like to raise your vibration, Band-Aid Gang, people in the chat, listen to the music during the years you were born. How you feel about that, you guys?
The 70s were definitely, I came up in the 70s and 80s, and the music was definitely different. Like you said, it was more love music. It was more creativity. Artists performed actual live instrumentation of music. It was a different vibration, and we grew up with that. You know, I credit that to my my old school pop locking and dancing and stuff I used to do back in the day, because we listened to that kind of music. You know, even today, you know, you still be gravitating to that kind of music when you really want to listen to something. You know, you still stuck in that old school. People say, like, man, you still listen to that 1980s stuff, that Zap and all that Parliament stuff? Like, yeah. You know, not only is it a West Coast thing, but it's also just a era thing. We grew up in the 80s and the early 90s. We listened to that. Even the rappers, when they first sampled that from the West Coast, they sample a lot of the 80s funk, because that was the height of the music then with instrumentation. But if you go back before then, it was also R&B samples that they used, because those are the songs they listened to on Saturdays when their mom was cleaning the house. You feel what I'm saying? And we grew up cleaning the house. We listened to that kind of music growing up. So that vibration was in the house. It was on your television when you watched Soul Train. Everybody grew up watching Soul Train when we came up, and watching the music, cleaning the house to it, and so on. So we grew up differently. These kids now don't have that avenue. Everything's on YouTube. Is pretty much drill music, or, you know, the internet is twerking it and popping booty music, which came along later on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We got a guy named Half Truth in the chat. Welcome, Half Truth. Hope you double tap the screen, hit the like button. Thank you for joining. Half Truth says American music is evil. In some sense, I got to agree. I got to agree with some. It just also depends on what you're listening to. Again, there's good music out there, but the majority of the music that we're hearing now is definitely demonic. So I have to kind of agree, but disagree a little bit. So September Virgo, Damon says facts. September Virgo, she's jamming in. Thank you, guys. Let's go, y'all.
In the left and right hemisphere.
Whatever that thing is, really does create some sort of a space-time bubble.
Yeah, but maybe it's not space. Maybe
now, this is Bob Lanier. Now, Bob Lanier, I'm surprised that Dr. E. Bob Lanier didn't come up missing. I'm surprised that Bob Lanier did not come up missing. They stripped him of his employment. They said he didn't go to the school. Oh, they did him all type of ways. They did him to the fact to where he probably would have freaked out like the young lady, the Mrs. Scientist did. They did Bob Lanier crazy. He worked at Area 52. He worked on a UFO, 52. They got a 52, too. So remember, y'all, they got more than one area. They got Area 51, 52. He worked at Area 52. And he called the UFO that he reverse engineered the sports model. And that's what everybody's seeing, that they finally start showing us. If everybody's been paying attention, when they opened up the UFO files, they were showing that UFO that the jets was chasing, and it had a little glow. You know what I'm talking about, Dr. E?
Right. Like a
So
sports
I'm
wheel
gonna
around.
give a demonstration of what they're doing right here. So I'm gonna show you that picture, the video of that UFO that they put out. So just so everybody could track, so everybody could be on. Can see. Okay, so let's check this out. So this glow, this is exactly what it is right here. So I want everybody to check this out. I think this is it. And it gets kind of deep on how he's describing it right here, Dr. E. And a lot of people now they started saying it's MQ9. Okay. I want to get the right one for everybody. While I get this out, I want everybody to hit the like button. So let's go ahead and build. We building right now. So what he's demonstrating is this right here, you guys. Let me show you. So it's going to make sense. They call it the sports model. So these guys were saying they had some real high scientists, y'all, that was saying that Bob Lanier was right. Nobody believed him. So this is going to be, stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to bring this other screen up, and this is what Bob Lanier, and I know a lot of you guys seen this. So when I go back to this next video, it's going to all key in to what I'm talking about. You still with me, Dr. E?
Yeah, right here.
How available. So for Australian non-believers, australiaisn'treal.org.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh, thing, dude.
Now you see what this glow around this? Because it's called, yes, it's called element 115. And that's it's actually what they're using. It's called 115 is what the aliens are using. It's an element 115. People don't believe it exists, but it does. This is where they know it's got this glow. So this glow around it, let's continue to play it.
That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. That is LNS, dude. Well, if there's look at that thing. It's rotating.
So, and it warped, it did all type of different maneuvers. So we go back into it. So this is what the glow is actually. What they're trying to say that glow is.
So is the element you saying is not on the scientific chart or is?
No, it's not on the scientific chart, but it's element 115. And it exists. Our government have it, but they're not putting it on a chart. So watch this. This is basically what they're saying it does. And this is Bob Lanier, the one that actually worked on the sports model. Let's go, y'all.
Maybe it's time. Maybe it's another dimension.
Whistleblowers told us UFOs don't fly using traditional thrust. They use localized space-time bubbles, warping space-time and creating gravity.
These vehicles display the ability to be transmedium.
Does that mean it can go through actual physical objects?
Yeah, they are warping space-time in a localized area, and they're basically creating a bubble that the craft operates in. And the bubble separates the craft from the environment around it. The environment becomes irrelevant. So it can move through physical space, could move from air, space to the water, frictionless, there's no splash. But the environment outside the bubble is irrelevant. They're creating their own space-time, warping space-time and creating a bubble around the craft.
Everything modern science knows about gravity is that it attracts, it pulls. Now, Bob Lazar explained that the craft he worked on emits a repulsive gravitational wave that cancels out its weight, creating a massive distortion in front of the craft. Instead of thrusting forward, the craft simply falls into that distortion.
He went over to the emitter and rotated it, and he said, try and touch it. And I put my hand on it, and it rebounded off. And the closer you got to it, the more it pushed back. There's no repulsive force that we've discovered, because that would be a great propulsion system.
So how do you actually steer a repulsive force field? Lazar breaks down the exact alien propulsion system he worked on, using 3 hollow gravity emitters to navigate space-time.
The emitters were the only things that were a different color. They were black. The bottoms of them were hollow, and you could see sort of copper-colored plates inside there. They were hung by large diameter tubes, maybe 3 inches or so, just like the waveguide that extends down onto the reactor.
When all 3 of the amplifiers are being used for travel, they're in the Delta configuration. And when only one is being used for travel, it's in the Omicron configuration. So as far as propulsion, the craft operates in 2 different modes, called Omicron and Delta. Omicron meaning 1 and Delta meaning 3. And that's referring to how many of the amplifiers and emitters are being used. So in Omicron configuration, the craft lifts off the ground using 1 amplifier and 1 emitter. The other 2 emitters can swing all the way up to 180 degrees out the side of the craft. And what that does is cause distortion in space and kind of forces the craft to fall into that distortion. Kind of the opposite of the way our aircraft work. Instead of throwing material out the back, this causes some sort of distortion in front of it where it's drawn into. The other mode of operation, Delta configuration, is really used when the craft is outside the atmosphere, where it's sitting in free space. In that mode, the craft rotates on its side. It does a belly roll and faces the bottom of the craft towards the destination. The 3 emitters in the bottom of the craft focus on the destination. They're brought up to power and the craft makes a jump. Now, the amplifiers don't operate on a continuous fashion. They pulse. They produce a pulse of energy and then require a recycle time. It's somewhere around 10 milliseconds or something like that. But then they essentially can fire again and make another jump. So in traveling to a distant location, the craft will make several jumps. It's never just one long jump, across the galaxy or something like that. It's just a series of jumps, and that's how it moves. When it arrives to where it is, it'll get close to the destination, switch over to Omicron mode, and set down or cruise around or whatever its plan was.
You know what? It's all starting to make sense. Now go on and watch this real quick.
Different from the president. We're very discreet, reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win.
Yeah, but we ain't done yet. Hold on.
I was going to say that, but...
Poor baby.
Yeah, she's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian, cold-blooded, and go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk to you more about President Biden and some other things.
They want us to know at this point. Oh, yeah, and if you want to see how to spot one...
God will take the money from the wicked and restore it to the just, that we as a planet are the wicked and they are the just. So this is how they justify their financial corruption.
That's definitely, we're dealing with psychopaths.
They don't believe that we deserve the money. In fact, they believe that if they did not dominate us and if they did not control us and play all these games, that we left to our own devices would destroy our planet. So in some twisted rationale, they believe they are saving the earth. They believe humans are bad for the environment. We cause pollution.
That's why when Biden was talking about we the people, he defined who we the people were. He was talking about the people in the room. He said that. They believe that.
So they have to reduce population. Then they seed that into movies like The Matrix, where Agent Smith says that that humans are like a virus on the planet. This is one of a variety of ways in which they will usually embed their teachings into the villain.
The latest on that, Rachel?
Rick Kareen, people in the area say the alleged shooter lived here at home with his parents.
Now let's get ready to go back into this, you guys. See this next clip. Now, when we were sitting here, I want to play this because, and I'm going to just go through it briefly. This is Trump. I don't want to stay on it too long. But when you look at Cash Patel and when they walk in after the shooting, when they tried to unalive Donald Trump, when the young man tried to unalive Donald Trump, look at Cash Patel. I want everybody to pay attention to Cash Patel, you guys, and how they walk up. It doesn't look human to me, you guys. Pay attention.
Well, thank you very much. That was
now watch this.
Was very unexpected, but incredibly.
Look at that guy. Now look at that. Now watch.
You don't know what an AI work management platform is? Okay, let me tell you. Here's 3 new AI-powered changes to the Monday.
Acted upon by Secret
Look
Service
Cash
and law
Patel
enforcement.
looking, y'all.
This was an event dedicated to freedom of
These
speech.
people ain't human, gang.
That was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security
Cash
checkpoint
Patel looked like he
armed
about
with
to jump
multiple
out his skin.
weapons. And he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly and have just released, for purposes of transparency, clarity, I've ordered it to be put out. You probably have it by now, put out on Truth and put out on many other platforms. A tape showing the violence of this thug that attacked our Constitution, and also showing how quickly Secret Service and law enforcement acted on our country's behalf. Really did a great job. One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job.
Now Donald Trump hair ain't orange, it's white.
Great.
I said, damn.
He is has very high spirits, and we told him we love him and respect him, and he's a very proud guy. He's very proud of what he does, Secret Service agent. And we looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, you know, it's not a particularly secure building. And
look at Cash Patel's face, Dr. E. The guy on the left, everybody. Look at Cash Patel. Why does he have the sad
attributes
face?
of what we're planning
The sad
at the White House?
emoji.
It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different, because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before. But everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the DC police. And we just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint. But they also performed exactly as they were supposed to. And you see the attacker in different positions, but you also see the attacker totally subdued and under control. So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement.
Dr. E, can I ask anybody a question in the chat? I'm going to go to the next clip. Let's rock out. Please double tap the screen. What do you think about the hair, you guys? I mean, it's not orange anymore. I mean, did he dye it? Is he? What's going on, Mike?
Trying to get rid of the orange man, nickname.
Like, his hair's still growing. Shit. I said, damn. All right, y'all, let's get to it. This is the dark pattern behind the vanished scientist. Let's go, y'all.
Anyway, there's more to this. House oversight to investigate missing dead U.S. nuclear scientists. Let's hear it.
Nearly a dozen U.S. scientists are dead or missing this morning, all with high levels of security clearance involving sensitive programs like UAPs and nuclear research. Well, this morning, the House Oversight Committee is investigating whether or not these cases are linked, if they're related. News Nation national correspondent Leah Lando is following this one closely for us. I mean, Leah, this is bizarre. And some people, including Kentucky Congressman James Comer, say these missing or dead scientists could be a threat to national security.
That's right, Marky. A lot of people looking at this. Scientists had access to top secret government information. They're now missing or they've been found dead over the last 4 years. Many had ties to military defense, nuclear research, or UAP programs. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer posting on X that they plan to request information and briefings from the FBI, NASA, and the Departments of War and Energy. In telling Fox and Friends on Sunday, this is a matter, he says, of national security.
We know there are many countries around the world that would love to have our knowledge and nuclear capabilities. And these are the people that were at the forefront of it. And they're either dead or missing.
And he also says that he hopes they can prevent any future cases like these. While some of these cases share similarities, officials have not confirmed any connection.
You're right, Sep.
These missing and killed scientists and former professional members of the Department of Energy vary in wide range. And we're working most importantly with our state and local partners who have the jurisdiction on each of these cases, whether they be a homicide or a missing persons case. They have the evidence. So what we're going to do is collectively pull it all into one place.
Now, one of these cases, scientist Amy Eskridge was ruled a suicide. That was back in 2022. Her father, a former NASA engineer, told our Nancy Liu that he does not believe her death was suspicious, adding, scientists die also just like other people. Marky.
Interesting. Oh, wow. Yeah, the numbers are impossible to ignore. And it's
that girl sat up there and told that story, changing license plates, sitting them on the porch, fake Uber drivers. Come on, y'all. The man sat there. We just watched the guy hit the like button, y'all. We saw the man sit right there on that damn thing and said, and they also come up missing. They need to investigate that dude. They know what they did to these people, y'all. Hit the like button, gang. They know what they did to these people, man.
Stunning pattern that has emerged.
Do you think those are the scientists with the top secret knowledge of what a woman is? I think that might be the problem. That Miko Kaku, he weighed in on this, and he says he just warned the growing number of scientists who have died or gone missing under unexplained circumstances should be treated as a national security issue rather than unrelated incidents. Oh, okay. Here's some more from Fox News. You want to hear it? Here it comes.
Or both those are working for NASA, but this is really one of the things that when we talk to former FBI special agents like James Galliano, you look at the number of potential connections, 8 in the last 2 years. And among them, you see William Neal McCaslin. He is an Air Force general that oversaw the Air Force lab that connects both the NASA Jet Propulsion Lab as well as the highly secretive work that they are doing in Los Alamos on a nuclear science, as well as McCaslin, by the way, also worked on secretive UAP or UFO technology in the past. He, of course, goes missing, doesn't take his phone or his glasses. So with this entire...
He left his phone and his glasses. His phone and his glasses, y'all. Mike said it's a pattern. He left his phone and his glasses. Let's continue.
List of people. Let's break down now, if we have that other wall, sort of where these people are working, right? So The NASA Jet Propulsion Labs are, as we mentioned, Michael David Hicks, Griemeyer, Maywald, and Monica Reza. Monica Reza, by the way, just goes hiking and disappears, vanishes. She was working on very highly classified things. She reported to...
He became missing. The next man, he became missing, left his phone. He went out to the desert too. He was from Albuquerque, New Mexico, up in that area, not too far from where Epstein Zorro Ranch is. Let's continue.
General McCaslin, who oversees the Air Force Space Labs, connects NASA ultimately over to Los Alamos. And so when you talk about the number of connections that may or may not exist, and that's why the FBI and other agencies are digging in now to find it, you wonder what was any potential motive if there was a connection to these missing and deceased persons. Was it a foreign government? We saw so many individuals from China when Bill Maluzhin and I were out in California and Arizona. These individuals are coming over. Were they possibly in any way trying to get our information? And they cross, by the way, in many places where this takes place.
So don't jump to any conclusions that there's a distinct possibility that it's our own government getting rid of anybody that knows about the phony alien invasion that's supposed to follow shortly. And here's one more. This is Amy Eskridge. She's one of the 11 scientists who have died disappeared recently that's linked to high government research. Amy researched anti-gravity. And in this clip, she's going to reveal that anti-gravity was already discovered 4 times, but each time the government suppressed it. She then reveals she was close to discovering it, but was threatened that she would be killed if she published it. She was found dead shortly after this 2022 interview. It was ruled a suicide, but no investigation details were made public, and British intelligence officer Frank Milburn testified before Congress in 23 that her death was not a suicide. She also said, "This is a few months before her death. If you see any report that I killed myself, I most definitely did not." So let's listen to what she had to say.
It's been independently discovered 4 other times.
Anti-gravity.
He said it has been suppressed every single fucking time. And he said, I don't think they're going to suppress it this time. He said, I think you're in the clear. He said, they obviously know about you because I've had multiple, both protective and threatening interactions with various agency affiliations, whatever. He was like, if you haven't had a U.S. government agent come to you and say, stop, shut the fuck up, stop, shut the fuck up. If that hasn't happened, they're going to let you do it. They're waiting. There are SSP motherfuckers that are fucking twiddling their thumbs. Like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Gah, we've been influencing this bitch forever. Doesn't she know we want her to publish? Jesus. Like, there's multiple people doing that right now. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it. They're going to kill you.
This game, you're not ready for it.
This is deep.
So I don't know if you noticed, she mentioned SSP in that clip. Isn't that the thing Kurt was ranting about when we did the NASA story last week? The secret space program, which just means the military space program. Okay, so, and here's one more. Between 2007 and 2025, Israel tracked down and assassinated 25 Iranian nuclear scientists, including 14 in the first 12 hours of the attacks on Iran last June. If a foreign country is targeting our nuclear scientists, there's a 99.99% chance it's real. So let me bring in someone to talk about this. Our good friend Kim Bright. is going to help us talk about this. She's a pioneer in the nutrition industry, expert in health and wellness, and founder of
I was just reading what Cupcake, I highlighted it in the chat. We was having that discussion earlier, Cupcake, to answer your question. They took her through a lot. She's actually a genius, and she works in Huntsville, Alabama. She was from Huntsville, Alabama, and you know there's a lot of strange stuff that goes on in Huntsville, Alabama. So I can imagine why she has that type of behavior. But they labeled it as a suicide. But they were playing mind games on her. I still want to get a little bit deeper in how she was unalived. How about that, Dr. E? I kind of want to know more about how she was unalived, and I'm probably going to have that on another show.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened to her. But yes, like we said people like that and her behavior, how she was coming up, you would think that she was crazy. You wouldn't know that she was a genius and master anti-gravity. So that means she shouldn't have started talking at all. So wherever she didn't take no oath or nothing, so I mean, what's her believability factor? Is she legit? Is she somebody that's like to be in front of the camera? Exactly. Or is she really just messed up from something traumatic? I'm just trying to grasp. Well, I think what she knows, like mastering anti-gravity, she wanted to bring it out. Like, again, 4 times people had mastered anti-gravity. And it came out. She knows how to do it. She worked in Huntsville, and they psychologically, she tells a story. You can watch on a replay gang to where when she would go home, it seemed like people was in her house. They were having conversations in the house, her and her significant other, whatever the case may be. And what they were talking about when they saw a car outside, she said the car mentioned something about the plates, and the guy came right out, changed the plates, took the plates up to her front door, and then every time you come out, the car would have a different state license plate on it. So I can imagine what she probably went through. So psychologically, it seemed like they were messing with her.
For nutrition now in its 29th year. Since the 80s, she's been appearing regularly on national, syndicated, and local radio television programs, educating people on how to optimize their health. She's also sponsored the show. Welcome back to the show, Kim Bright.
Hey, Jimmy, it gets weirder and weirder. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, pleasure. I want to hear it. Let's take a look at this. This is some more about the missing NASA scientists.
The passing of yet another NASA scientist has resurfaced as the list of chilling disappearances and mysterious deaths of those with ties to America's space and nuclear secrets grows longer. The disturbing cases have since sent internet sleuths into a frenzy, searching for answers about the unsettling pattern. Here's what to know. Michael David Hicks, who worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Flint Ridge, California, as a research assistant, passed away at the age of 59 in July of 2023. However, there's no public cause of death or autopsy for Hicks' passing, nor any mention of how he died in his obituary, although it does ask for donations in his memory to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Hicks's death is just one in a web of concerning deaths and disappearances of NASA scientists and individuals with ties to U.S. space secrets. 3 other scientists with ties to NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, or JPL, have either gone missing or died over the past few years, even as recently as February.
Here to talk more about this is Kim Bright. Kim, what do you have to say about this?
Well, let's talk about the circumstances surrounding some of these missing and dead scientists. Astrophysicist Carl Grillmeyer was shot dead on his porch in his own home, way out in the boonies in California. They made an arrest, and they've never established a clear motive. Another researcher at NASA, Frank Maywald, died. And just like the other scientist Hicks, there's little to no public information about how he died. And then Monica Reza, she went missing mysteriously in 2025, hiking in California with friends. They turned around and she was gone. She hasn't been seen since. They found her hat. Then General William McCaslin, he also shockingly has gone missing, and he vanished from his home just this past February. Anthony Chavez, Melissa Cassis, Cassis, I can't remember how to pronounce her last name, but they vanished from their homes too. They left behind their wallets, their phones, their keys. And as of right now, Jimmy, no federal agency has publicly acknowledged any of the connections between these cases. But what makes all these cases so much more suspicious is that they all worked at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratories, JPL, or in another division that specialized in sensitive nuclear and defense research. But I think you have to ask the question, when does a pattern stop simply being a coincidence? And there might even be another one. I don't know if you've heard about this, but David Wilcock, famous UFO researcher who is on History Channel, and he's New York Times bestselling author, very involved with UFO research, supposedly committed suicide out front of his house in front of law enforcement near Boulder, Colorado, just a few days ago on 4/20. He was only 53.
Go ahead, Dr.
I was just saying, remember I just mentioned that? I said Nevada, Mexico, Colorado, and then she just mentioned Colorado. Because, you know, all these places got tunnels and stuff like that, ranches, mountain places, secluded areas. So that's why I brought that up. And then, like I said, we see some of this stuff because as truck drivers, we go on these back roads and we see all kind of crazy stuff. But, you know, that's
And
another
they
show.
said that Amy Elkeridge, she, I'm gonna go ahead and show a read on what happened to her. I just told you guys, so I kind of went back and looked it up. So this is what happened to her, you guys. It says that she had let's go ahead and do the read. It says that she was from Huntsville, Alabama. It said, okay, including the list of deaths being questioned is of a Huntsville resident, Amy Elkeridge, who died in 2022 at the age of 34. Fox News reported her death was from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But official details have not been publicly released. It is a nuclear when Elkeridge, if you say her name, death was first linked to the other cases. So she suffered from a gunshot wound. Was it in the head? They won't let us know what was she hitting. How did she unalive herself, basically?
Wow.
And they keep highlighting that she was right here. They keep highlighting she was a genius.
Yeah. So genius just doesn't I'm trying to use the correct word. A genius does not just unalive themselves. You know. That doesn't make
isn't
sense.
it released? I wonder, do her family know? Crazy work, y'all. It's getting crazier and crazier every year.
And all this is under which president?
Donald Trump.
And all these things are coming up against him in these files,
yes,
taxes, all this stuff is coming up. And now he's like, oh, well, let's go ahead and release the files to the UFOs. That's a big flip from Epstein files. But then again, maybe it's all together. It's weird. That's weird right there. It's like a throw off. It's like he'd rather give you the UFO information that he knows about as a president, so they know all kind of secrets, right? But he don't want to give up his secrets about the Epstein file.
Right.
That's a throw off if I don't even know one. But then at the same time, maybe he know all this kind of stuff go together. But he's like, if I'm going down, I'm not going down alone, right? He just keeps trying to throw everybody else under the bus with him. And then the other people coming up on the line and they get thrown under the bus. But for him, he's still making moves. Got us at war supposedly, and we got ships facing each other. That's not no war. When you ever known a war when ships ain't fighting and shooting at each other? They just sitting over there looking at each other. That's a waste of money. That's another show. But yeah, you know, Doctor, you got a lot to say today when it comes to all this stuff, politics. Because you know, I'm not big on politics, but now it's coming together with the science stuff. It's a little interesting to me. You know,
yeah, let's
very interesting.
We back, y'all. We're going to get back in the algorithm. You know, a couple more times, YouTube got to recognize, hey, they back. They back. So, you know, we always get out the slump. This ain't our first rodeo. Sorry for the wait, y'all. Sorry I took off for a little while. So let's get right back to it.
And he also had made videos that said, I'm not going to commit suicide. So, it's very interesting, don't you think? I mean, there's always been this dark cloud over NASA with everything that they do. I'm 71, and I've been around to see all the inconsistencies of how they operate versus what they report to the public.
It's so easy. I said, damn.
Easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready.
I mean, this is absolutely nuts. What do you know about Artemis 2?
Well, let me bring up something interesting about Artemis 2 and all the other rocket launches happening. Rocket launches, when they go up, release so much debris. The fuel they're burning, it's releasing polymers and other pollutants into the atmosphere, of course, which we all share and inhale. And that's just a small part of it. There's a ton of other ways that we're being exposed to the same type of chemicals and pollutants. And it's not just these launches, but also all the pollution that's being caused by the war in Iran. Every time a missile goes off, Jimmy, or a bomb explodes, microplastic particles are released into the upper atmosphere and they spread globally. So no matter where you live, these microplastics are going to have significant impact on your health. And of course, microplastics are the tiny plastic particles that form when larger plastic items break down through sunlight, heat, and friction. And they're found everywhere. They just keep getting smaller and smaller. They never go away. They're in our oceans, our rivers, our soil, our food, our drinking water, and our air. And because these particles are so small, they now easily move through the food chain and can enter our bloodstream and our organs. And you might ask, how exactly do they get into our bodies, Kim? Well, they're absorbed through our skin, ingested into our gastrointestinal system, and inhaled into our lungs. And Jimmy,
what about
I got one for you. Do you know that 94% of our drinking water in the United States contains microplastics, and 88% of our protein sources, our meat, our seafood, even tofu, have microplastics in them? That's crazy.
It didn't used to be like this, though, right? I mean, this is relatively new phenomenon, is it not?
Yes, it is. But humans now ingest 6 times more microplastic particles than they did in 1990.
You spoke of art of war.
What was that?
You said art of war?
No, I was saying that we're drinking more bottled water. Bottled water.
But it's in the water too.
Yeah.
We're not safe.
When we drink,
Even
when we drink the water,
you're not safe.
Right, because when you drink a bottle of water, let's say your water is in the vehicle, your car, and you're drinking out the water bottle. They say that's how you can get a lot of the plastics in it, because the plastic breaks down inside the container or whatever, because the heat, like she just kind of mentioned. So when you're drinking the bottled water, even though it's supposed to be healthier that you're drinking out the bottled water, it's actually putting plastics to a certain degree, I guess, in your body, because you're drinking from bottled water that's been heated. A bottle that's been heated and then broke down, even though you made it put it back in the freezer and froze it back and then take it back out. It's just the idea that it has broken down and now those particles are inside the water. So everything we do almost in food consumption has got something in it, about the ingredients, the containers we're eating in. It's so much that it's almost overwhelming. But that's just how this was actually saying, we're getting all these particles in our body. And then they sent this rocket up the other day, and people saw this rocket, and I guess in the last couple months have been sending these rockets off, and she's actually releasing more particles in the air. You see what I'm saying? If there is a war going on right now, which they really not doing anything, but if they were actually over there fighting, those missiles and bombs are sending off more particles in the air. That's why I say you really can't even go into a nuclear war for real, because once we do, all hell's gonna break loose. But it says and mentioned that, going back to the Bible and religion, about the next catastrophe on earth is gonna be man destroying the earth, not God. Our nature is gonna be, by fire. It's gonna be by man destroying the earth. So now, are we getting to that point? I'm just saying. I let her rock on.
96 times more.
That's what I'm
And
talking about.
every breath we take, we inhale these microplastics. The average American is inhaling 68,000 microplastic particles every single day, and that number only goes up. And now there's this unprecedented amount of microplastics, both in our environment and in our bodies. And we cannot underestimate the devastating impact that this is going to have on our health. I mean, no joke here. You're far more.
Sounds like she's trying to talk around. Maybe this is why so she basically seemed like she know how to talk around the situation. So if these scientists were dealing with anti-gravity or whatever, trying not basically to keep polluting the earth. So some of this stuff that even with the chemtrails that they're releasing into the atmosphere, y'all see it done every day, trying to block out the sun, all these certain particles that have an effect on our bodies. They want it to be what it is. So population control, so which also goes to population control. So it's gonna be a long ride, y'all. It's gonna be a long ride. So it even goes to the point where I saw CC, one of the young men, he was speaking. He was like, "Detox your body." I'm like, and after you listen to this, he's like, "For what? If I detox my body, a week later I'm gonna have to do it again." So it's like,
because only way you saw that problem, we had to actually all stop eating manufactured, processed, and commercial food. But we all do that, especially this generation. We don't grow our own food anymore. And if we did, like I said, you have to have everything from almost a seed, that's a pure seed, to actually make sure that your products come out to be right. Because anything we go to the store and go buy, it's got chemicals in it. I mean, it can go on and on down another pool again. So you have to really isolate yourself from the rest of the world. So that's almost impossible. Not completely impossible. Right, but it's almost completely impossible. I'll say about 70% right now, because everything we do is based on that. Everything, what I'm saying, from eating to what we consume to where we go to sleep and air conditioning, everything that we do is almost pretty much commercialized or has some kind of chemical treatment to something.
Born to die game.
That part.
Hit that like button, y'all. Double tap that screen. Let's get the likes up, y'all.
Likely to die from the pollution of war than you are to be a casualty of combat. And let me explain why.
Wow, you heard that?
Yep,
That's because these microplastics are causing inflammation in our bodies, oxidative stress, and they are actually all altering our DNA. And all of this is dramatically increasing our risk of developing cancer and other chronic diseases, Jimmy. And people with microplastic plaque in their veins and arteries are 4.5 times more likely to die from heart attack or stroke. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't think that's too cool.
Your day-to-day covered with Base 44 super agents. Your life is chaotic.
That she just mentioned, that's blood pressure, that's different breathing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just reacting off what she said, but I mean, she pretty much is covering everything that we pretty much are talking about. It's the same thing. She said you're probably gonna more die from that than you are.
Yeah.
But they sure not fighting. They got ships over there looking at each other. That's not no war.
That's not. It's not a war. It's stall him out, Debo. Stall him out. Stall him out, Debo. Come on, y'all. We know what this is. Hit the like button, y'all. Stall them Epstein files out long as they can.
I just had a recent project.
And keep moving, shifting these little kids that they eating all around. They clearing out them tunnels.
That part.
Prostate cancer scare. And isn't there a study that talks about microplastics and prostate?
I said, yeah.
Yes, there's a new study that found that 9 out.
Here, y'all, like they shifting kids around. Y'all, everybody has forgot the fact that these people now they have distracted us on how Yep, we got into the Epstein files, the Zorro Ranch, maybe a month ago, maybe even a month and a half ago, you guys. People were livid knowing the fact that there were kids coming up missing and that they were eating these children allegedly.
Yep. And then about 2 weeks later, we go into a war.
We're into a war, and now we're not even worried about thinking about the children anymore.
Like it's supposed to just magically go away. We're gonna throw this
exactly, and it did.
Yeah.
And it did. It went away a little bit when you sit back and think about it. You know.
But I was saying, you know, this is not the typical war there. Like I said, we used to. Cause I'm like, look how we still carrying on our everyday activities. We don't think about that we're at war right now. We drive down the roads. We go to the mall. We still shopping. We still having holidays. Nobody's even thinking about it's a war going on overseas and the United States involved in it. That's how much to the left this whole war thing is. You know, any other wars that have been World War I, World War II, the whole world was watching. The whole world was knowing that we are at war. You feel what I'm saying? Now you look at what's going on, even up to Vietnam. But now you look at it like, but we're at war? Yeah, we're at war right now. But when you look at the ships on television or whatever, these different news clips, they show the ships over there sitting over there looking at each other, like 20 ships on this side, 30 ships or something on that side, everybody looking at each other, sitting on the patio deck, like, what's going on? They're not shooting no bombs at each other. That's not a war.
Then we have to think about too, because it gets deep. You know what I'm saying? It gets deep, Doctor, when you got to sit back and you think about the fact of, like, when we're in another country, right, Dr. E, and we're in that country in a ground war. Can y'all imagine to those people in those third world countries? It looks like revelations to them.
Yeah, like the world. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like
we never seen that.
Over there, they got bombs dropping. They like it's revelations right now. But over here, we don't look at it like revelation because it's not happening to us. So our revelations is happening over here. They say you reap what you sow. So are we getting it from disease, the chemtrails, people getting sick, dying of cancer? What are we? So what is our revelation? Because it's little kids listening to bombs and gunfire, and it looks biblical to them. They're like, this is revelations. This is what it speaks about. That's what it looks like.
But according to what they're saying, we're the ones leading all this. You know, even on the stuff of the United States, we say we dropping bombs over there in their country, and nothing's happening over here. But you're destroying the people by chemical warfare and psychological warfare and all this stuff over here in your own country.
Right.
The own country that you're supposed to be protecting or whatever the case is in a war situation, you're destroying your people over here. You're not doing anything. You got homelessness going on. You got all these other problems going on in the back and how you say inside your own house in your backyard. But then yet you're overseas worried about some oil. Who's going to control the oil? What the cost is going to be? And then we got all these, you know, we got the oil fields over here. They're supposed to be for reserve tanks, right? Well, when we're at war, shouldn't we be using our own stuff so we don't have expensive fuel? But we over there fighting and holding up everything. That's supposed to be the just cause of why all the prices are up right now on fuel. That doesn't make any sense.
We got plenty of oil, Band-Aid gang. They said we got plenty of oil. We got the best sweet oil is what Donald Trump said on TV, y'all. We got the sweet oil, and then he said, I don't know what they mean by sweet, but it's supposed to be the sweetest. We got the best oil. We got the best fuel over here. Then why that goddamn gas price still high?
Right. Why are we not using it? And then it's supposed to be for reserve. And then when you always hear the reserve thing. We got reserve things. You know, we're doing it the rest of the time. We don't want to mess up our reserves. So now if we're at wars, shouldn't that be the time you turn on your reserve? It's like you got a tank of gasoline in your backyard. You know what I'm saying? A big old tank. And now when gas prices go up, you go to your tank and start getting gas. You know what I'm saying? That you done saved up. And to another cheaper day, you fill it back up again. That's common sense, right? So why are we not doing that with our oil things over here? We got oil pumps that's always pumping year round pretty much most of the time. We got what you call them wind farms over here and all these other different things that we can create and make things happen over here. We don't burn as much oil, whatever the case may be. But yet we're overseas, standing off in the middle of the ocean, not fighting each other, and trying to control who dictates the oil around the rest of the world that other people are selling it to. That really got nothing to do with us. Why are we over there?
And that's what I wanted to tell the Band-Aid gang. Band-Aid gang, we've been getting emails. I'm going to talk to my people straight up. I know y'all talked to Yolanda the Gray. I know a lot. Thank you guys for supporting her as well. They tried to silence us. That's why I haven't been on doing content. So we got an email, bots ran through. So we're under, right now, they're reviewing my channel to get our monetization back. So we're under review right now because they ran a sweep and the bots went through. So now we're actually waiting. I was scared to come back and talk about Trump. That's why y'all see me. Basically, they said you either change your content, delete it, and it never gives you that option. It's like, why delete my content? So it takes 14 days. We appealed. So, basically, Band-Aid gang, we waiting to get everything back, but I'm not going to neglect the channel. But it scared me. It was like, basically, they told us in the email, do not talk about Trump. So that's why you seen the little Band-Aids on my little stuff, because so many people were doing numbers off of the fact, and they want to say, okay, if we're putting out all this money, right, we want to make sure your content is a little different, because some people might be using news clips. That's why you seen earlier, I put the Band-Aid on there when I started the live. So I have to be a lot more creative, but at the same time, they scared me, Band-Aid gang. Dr. E, we've been knowing about this. Yeah, so
it always do it though. I mean, like I said, politics and religion supposed to be separate things, but as you see they coming together, now they throwing science into it. So
yes,
if you're saying boys being creative, we talking about all these things are how they coming together. Now I don't think a lot of people are doing exactly how we doing it or speaking about what we're talking about, but it does come back down to the president. You can't go around him because he's in the middle of all the bullshit.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. They can hate it or love it.
So I'm treading lightly, Band-Aid gang. So you're going to see my content. I'm still going to be Band-Aid gang. But, I'm going to pipe back up, everybody. I got to get back in my zone. But today I said I'm not going to, neglect my channel anymore. My people want to hear from me. So I'm here for the long run. I'm back at it, gang. So I do apologize for that. But, hey, they had me scared. Dr. E, they had me scared. I'm like, well, shit. Do I want to touch base and talk about this Trump? So that's why I kind of changed what I talk about and how I do it. So I just got to be a lot more cautious and got to pay attention to our chat.
I do want to reach out, like I said, two other people, like I said, as engineers and one's a schoolmate of mine and another one, like I said, he does politics a little bit. He's not a big, huge Trump supporter. Let's going to be real with it. But he is going to be able to pretty much ride that line on the political side a little more in depth than what we kind of probably talking about, and give us some more facts, because he crosses that all the time on his page about this politics in general, and he was a scientist. He was an engineer.
On the channel. And everybody, we just pray that everybody pray for Diamond. It's nothing major. She just was under the weather, So we prayers go up to Diamond. Shouts out to Diamond. We love you, Diamond. Also, Kamikaze was supposed to be on Dr. E. So he'll be on tomorrow. So we gonna dive deep. We're gonna get our rhythm back. We're gonna get the channel back in the algorithms. That does take a little time, but we always get right back to what we're supposed to be. So at the end of the day, gang, I do want to thank y'all. I'm gonna watch the end of this clip and then I'm gonna close it out. We've been on for 2 hours. Any questions, please put them in the chat. And with that being said, tomorrow we're gonna be lit. I built this little timeline today that I played. Was quick. I just said it was last minute. So, I just get my comfort zone back, y'all, doing it for the gang. So we back at it, y'all. I'm definitely now going to start covering more than just all politic. I got to because we're playing with a dangerous machine. This is a machine. This has turned into a machine. When you're dealing with this, what's going on with the DOJ and these people, they will try to shut you down. So I also feel like we should be diverse, Dr. E. What do you think about that? A lot of diverse on how we do our content. So definitely I'm back. Yeah, I'm taking it back to the basics, gang. So Are we going back to what we started with? There's a lot of Go Bear stuff that I've been watching. I've been talking to Cupcake behind the scenes. I also been watching that. I just wanted to touch base because this was a major break. These scientists. So what's important is what I do want to talk about. So I'm definitely gonna mix it up. We got some good stuff coming tomorrow, y'all. I will be working on our next live tomorrow, and Kamikaze will be on. But I am interested in what else she has to say. How about it, Dr. E, before we close? You want to finish it off?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is what you just said right there. I mean, that's what we try to really do is stay on our current events, from politics to what's going on in the news today. Then we are part of the hip hop culture, so we try to bring that to and follow some of these rappers and stuff they're going through and these record labels, because all that does once again ties back into politics. Now, I think that's the last time I think we had mentioned on the channel before that politics, like talking about the music today, it's because of politics the music is getting like it's getting. It's not us creating anymore. Hollywood itself is creating the music. They're dictating the music and what we listen to and how it's played on the radio. And some of these rappers today with these 360 deals are telling you right in front of your face what they're getting into and why they got to do what they do just to be in the music industry. And they do it because they just want to get that paycheck, but the paycheck is dictated by what they talk about, how they talk about it, and what they do. And that's why we got this music that we have now, the drill rap and stuff like that with the killing and stuff like that. And it's always all these guys make this money, then they end up right back in jail, then they get out of jail. Why is they going on so much hip hop? That wasn't what hip hop was all about. So, we talk about stuff like that. We talk about the old and the new without getting too far into the new, because like you said, the powers that be control the new, including YouTube itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's being real with politics.
Absolutely. And with that being said, y'all, we're gonna close it out, man. We had 2 hour minute. I'm thankful. Thank you guys for coming in, Band-Aid Gang. Thank you guys for being so supportive and supporting my sister, the Great Spills the Tea. She getting her channel back running and algorithm. So we're gonna get right back at it, y'all. So thank you all, most of my Band-Aid Gang people over here, Mike, Damon, September Virgo. I see Mike and Damon always supporting the Great Spills the Tea over there. Cupcake, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the intel. So I'm back into my books, and I'm gonna be definitely talking to Dr. Ian. We're just gonna be coming up with content with Diamond. But make sure y'all tap in tomorrow, gang. We're gonna have some more high conspiracy stuff coming on. And I'm definitely keeping my ears to the street. And I know you guys are gonna enjoy Kamikaze. He's gonna be a new face on the channel, y'all. I'm loving his vibe. You guys, I know you guys liked last time he was on here. Dr. E, we turned up. So hey y'all just be looking out, y'all. Band-Aid Gang, hit the like button. It's your boy C-Dub. Mr. I ain't said a word, but you know what I'm saying. And I said, damn, we're Dr. E and the Real Angel, and we are Band-Aid Gang. Thank you for joining us tonight, you guys. We love you. We appreciate you guys for coming back and just enjoying the lives, y'all. That's what it's about, man. We in a serious moment, serious time right now. And sometimes it's just good to reconnect with the people that support you and that you support. So I do want to thank you guys for coming in and showing love. It's your boy C-Dub, and we out. Band-Aid Gang. Peace.
Peace out.